Welcome to the Sharing Economy. I talk a lot about real estate on this channel. I become financially free from buying Airbnbs, and I'm all about creating a side hustle. So we're here in beautiful San Diego, California, talking with Jose. He started his own car rental business about a year and a half ago, and the numbers are gonna absolutely blow your mind. We're gonna go over how much money you can make and what are the pitfalls, and number one, is it worth it? Let's dive in.
Hello everyone, I'm Jose Moreno. I'm the founder of SD City Rentals and I'm a car rental expert. I'm in San Diego, California, and I've been doing this for a year and a half. So I'm 22 years old. I come from a small town, Stockton, California. It's not too many opportunities out there, and I always knew that I was meant for something greater. I've come across businesses and there was nothing that really resonated with me until I found this. I just stuck with it and I've been able to get here. I come from a city, I didn't know anything about credit. I didn't know anything about business. I just learned it all and I've been able to scale this fast in a year and a half. So I believe that if you can be consistent with it, you can achieve what you want to achieve.
Okay, Jose, what did you do prior to renting cars out?
I've always been an entrepreneur. I was always dealing with the resale business, buying things for cheaper, such as clothes, I would just flip items that I would find, whether it's like the swap meet or flea market, thrift stores, and I would sell it on eBay for more.
Hustler.
Yeah, always been like.
All right, so how'd you get started?
I got started because I was just scrolling on Instagram. I came across my mentor. He was talking about Turo and how he got into it and he was able to buy these nice cars. And I've always loved cars, but I knew that it was a bad way to spend your money. And I read one of his books and I started running the place, started making money. So then I ended up reaching out to him, got a one-on-one mentorship with him, and just been able to build since then. Okay,
Jose, I see a lot of people doing big things with car rental businesses. Give us some stats. How many cars do you have and how much revenue does that generate?
So I have 74 cars.
74 cars?
Yeah, 74.
Holy shit, man.
Around 50 of those cars are economy cars. So on a consistent basis, they're bringing in anywhere from $1,000 to $1,800 a month.
What does a profit look like over a year's time?
To give you an example, so a car can cost $6,000. You can buy it cash, and then you have to get the commercial insurance. It costs around $150 per month. That's pretty much it if you find a long-term renter. So if you find a long-term renter, whether someone they commute to work a lot, they don't have a car, someone who they're looking to buy a house, so they may not want to put a car on their debt-to-income ratio, so they're looking to rent. In these cases, you can find someone to rent a car for anywhere from $1,000 to $1,600. So let's say, for example, they rent a car that costs $6,000, usually around $1,200 a month. Minus the insurance, you're pocketing around $1,000 a month.
You're making all your money back within like 6 months for those economy cars.
Correct.
Oh, that's a great investment.
Very good.
So why isn't everyone doing it?
Man, not everybody wants to do it because the risk factor. You hear car rental and you're saying, I don't want a stranger driving my car, or you're worried about the liability issues, but there's laws that protect you. And you have to have contracts and insurance in place just to protect you additionally. But, the laws protect car rental companies and they protect you from any liability, but it can get messy. So that's why some people are hesitant, but as long as you have the right procedures, you're gonna be good.
So you have 74 cars. How long did it take you to acquire that many cars?
It's taken me a year and a half.
A year and a half, dude?
Yeah, a year and a half, man. I was able to scale so fast. I just had the right direction. And I've always been a student. I'm always learning, consistently learning. So I never think that I know everything about the business. So I'm always trying to learn more. And just having the right information I've been able to get there. There's a lot of people that they may only be in the business for a year. They only scale to 2 or 4 cars. But there's other ways to do it. You just have to get the right information so you can do that.
That's impressive, man. So what was your first car?
My first car was a 2019 Honda HR-V.
All right, give us a hack. How do you go from one car, that Honda, to this bad boy right here?
So what you do is you just gotta have your credit right. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna fix your credit if it's not already good. There's ways to do this. It's very doable. You can't think just because it's messed up that you're not gonna be able to do that. So you get your credit right, then you get a car that's at a certain value, and then you can make like either 25, at maximum 50% jump from there. So you might start a car that's 20,000, then you go like 40,000, 60,000, 80,000, 100, 125, 175, 200, 250, and then after you get 250, you can pretty much get a loan for any car $0 down. You can go and get a Rolls Royce $0 down as long as you've already paid off those amount of loans and you're past.
A Rolls Royce.
Rolls Royce. $0 down. You can walk at the dealership with no money down. I've been able to acquire some badass cars like that.
Okay, so that's another question, because a lot of people that I deal with, they have like little to zero money. Is it possible to start a business like this with little to zero money?
It is, but I would definitely recommend getting in with economy cars, reliable economy cars. Think about a car like this, you got to get the brakes in or something. It's gonna be crazy. So some cars I have, the brakes cost $10,000 just to fix.
So start small and then eventually start scaling your business up like that.
Exactly, because anything happens, you want to be able to, you might have to come out of pocket and fix it that time, but you always keep the ball rolling.
Would you ever consider just sticking with luxury cars, or do you like to have a mix?
I like to have a mix. I didn't buy my first luxury car until I already had 30 economy cars making money consistently. Hey, come check this out. This is the Maybach, 2017 Mercedes Maybach. It's a Brabus package, so it has special wheels, some special features.
Fuck, dude.
So back here, you got the screens. You have a champagne cooler in here. So you can have a chauffeur driving you, drink some champagne.
You can lay back, huh? Fuck.
Oh yeah, you can lay back.
Dude, this shit got a remote. What's this remote for, man?
TV, man.
Look at this thing, man. Fuck, the TV's just right there. What you need a remote for? That's crazy, man. Hey, sorry, dude.
Let's check out the front. So in the front, you know, you have the sheepskin floor mats, and we have Bluetooth, double sunroof. All the features that a modern day car would have, this one would have it. You know, it was way ahead of its time. It's 2017. Go rent out for around $700 a day, and it has all the features. It has ambient lighting at night. It looks super nice. Some of the best features of this car is the infrared. So when you're driving and you can't see because of the fog, you can turn this on and you can see.
All right, so $700 a night. How many days of the month does it typically rent?
Rents out around like 16 days out of the month.
16 days at $700.
Correct. Yeah, we have a couple, you know, we don't really like to do one-day bookings. We like to keep it open for our guests who are going to stay multiple days. If we do one-day bookings, if someone books it here, it could block out the entire week for a guest who wants to book for a week. So we don't do one-day bookings.
How are you renting these cars out?
So I'm renting these cars out privately. I have created my own company with my own insurances and my own procedures. But if you're just getting started, I recommend going through Turo, and there's a couple other apps you can use, and just use these to get experience. And if you're not looking to scale up super big, then there's nothing wrong with Turo. The only thing is that we stayed away from Turo because of the pricing. So many hosting competition, you know, brought the pricing down very, very fast. So we become our own company to set our own pricing.
I see you on social media talking about private rentals versus renting out on Turos. Talk to me a little bit about that.
The benefits of renting privately is that, you know, you can set your own prices, and you cut out a lot of the fees, the extra fees that another third-party platform will charge. They'll go directly to your company. So there are more risks, but all those fees that a third-party company will be charging, you can be charging yourself.
So more money in your pocket.
Exactly, more money.
Sweet. Okay, here's another one of your cars. What is this? This is a Mustang? Okay. So what's your favorite car in your fleet?
So my favorite car in my fleet is my 2020 wide-body Hellcat. Has V8 supercharged, and the daily rate is around 400. It's super fun to drive when it's not rented out. You know, there are some headaches that come with it being supercharged and super fast, but the money is really good because if you charge it 400 a day, and you know, there's also incidents that happen that you have to charge for, so it's some additional income.
So $400 a day. What's your car note on that thing?
1,300.
So if it rents out, let's say 5 days in a month, you're pretty much breaking even at that point, right?
Right, because then you have the insurance, but you're still pocketing around 500 at 5 days.
So is the Hellcat your favorite car because of the money it generates, or just because it's a badass car?
For both reasons.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to ask a loaded question that I hear online all the time for someone that wants to start their own rental business. What is the best car to start with?
The best car to start with would be like a Honda or a Toyota, something very reliable and something that, you know, good price, 4 doors, so there's space for 4 passengers, 5 passengers. That's going to be your best bet because you can get in low cost and low risk. You know, you're not going to have as much risk as jumping in with a Hellcat or a Mustang, you know, but I would definitely recommend like a crossover SUV, so you can also fit families, but you can also accommodate people who don't want to get too big of an SUV and spend too much money on gas.
Have you bought like duplicate cars? Like let's say you have a 2020 Honda Accord that just kills it. Do you just keep buying the same one, or you like to mix it up?
I have 6 Toyota Corollas in my fleet.
Okay.
And I have 2 Toyota RAV4s.
Okay.
So that's the Toyota game.
People love their Toyotas, right? Especially Filipinos. Okay, so here's another question that I get all the time, and it's a question that I have is, what's the maintenance look like? I mean, is it more maintenance because you're renting it out to people?
It's pretty, you know, it sticks to schedule. Regular oil changes, anything that needs to be changed. If you come in with a newer car, you don't need to change like the spark plugs and do tune-ups too often. You don't have to do it until, for a Lexus I didn't have to do it until I was at 125,000 miles. So, you know, you're pretty much good on maintenance as long as you're buying the cars right. If you get a little older, then you have to find the scheduled maintenance. But, you know, it's just like every other car that's getting driven. You're gonna have wear and tear on it, but you're not going to have anything too dramatic unless, you know, you're having some renters that are driving it crazy.
Okay, so the people that follow me knows that I run an Airbnb business and I have a hotel, but I use a lot of software out there to help me out, and I have virtual assistants. Running a rental business, do you have something very similar?
I do. There are softwares, but I don't use any of those softwares. Me specifically, I've learned to do it all with Google. You know, I use Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets.
Okay.
You know, and all my meetings, I have it set up with software like Calendly, so I make my meetings around that.
Okay.
But there are softwares like HQ Rentals, and there's a few other ones out there.
How much time and effort does running your fleet take?
You know, at this point, I would say it takes a couple hours a day.
Okay.
You know, but this is all like executive work. So I'm making sure the marketing is going right. I'm making sure the fulfillment's going right. I'm making sure everything's going right and all the financials are looking right. Because before I was just doing all the day-to-day work. And I was like washing the cars myself. So you can imagine when you get 74 cars, washing the car yourself and doing the bookkeeping. It's not possible.
Right.
Now I just do the executive work. I have a team who does everything else, and also I just focus on growing my course business as well. Teaching individuals how to get into the space.
Can someone do this business while working a full-time job?
Yes, you can do this. There's multiple ways you can do this. So one, you can have the cars yourself, and you can hire a team to do the day-to-day operations, or you can get the car and you can send it to a company who will manage it for you. So there's management companies all over the world, all over major cities. I even have a lot of connections all over the US, because if one of my guests is traveling to Miami, they need a car. I even have connections in Japan. If my guests are going to Japan, I can help them out with a car. And I'm still able to make money off those deals, and my guests get taken care of.
Okay, so we're here in sunny San Diego. Is this a good place to start a car rental business?
Yes, it's a good place, but you can also start it anywhere you're at. You don't need to be in a booming city to really make money in this business. You could even just make some connections, and you can be, there's been times I'm here in San Diego and I'm making money in LA just because I have the right connections. So it's just about what you know and who you know.
To us about the insurance with this thing. People always have that as a concern when they're starting their own business, right?
So for the insurance, you got to reach out for an insurance broker. You got to look at for hire insurance, because this is going to be used commercially and other individuals are going to be driving it. Usually you always want to use the renter's insurance, but you always want to have commercial as a backup.
Who should not look to start their own car rental business?
You shouldn't get into the rental business if you're going to be attached to your vehicles. As much as I like these luxury vehicles, at the end of the day, they're here to make money, so you can't get attached. If an accident happens, it happens, and you keep pushing and you do the right processes to make sure the claim goes through.
So many times on social media, people always talk about their wins. What are some of the negatives of starting a business like this?
Some of the negatives could be, if you don't know what you're doing, you can really end up in a bad position. So for example, if you don't have the proper insurances and you get into accidents, then your cars aren't going to be covered. So you want to make sure you have the insurance covered and you know what you're doing. Luckily I didn't have go through too many mistakes myself, just because I had the right information in front of me. And that's like the biggest thing I can tell individuals getting into the space is get someone who can show you what to do and how to do it. And if you have to pay them for their time, then do it, because that payment is going to be worth it in the long run.
Right. Yeah, I hear that all the time. I always tell people find a mentor, because yes, you're going to spend $2,000-$3,000, sometimes more money, but the thing is you're probably going to make more mistakes, costing you even more money, right?
Right, exactly.
Do you recommend partnering up with anyone to start a business like this?
I've seen individuals have a lot of success partnering up.
I
never partnered up with anybody. I have made my own company and I did it myself.
This is all yours.
Yes, just because, I just made it happen. And, being someone who creates a business, you have to be willing to take risk and you have to be consistent about it. And not everybody's like that. So if you can't find a partner that's going to be reliable, then it's better to do it by yourself.
What is one thing you had to learn the hard way?
One thing I had to learn the hard way is, you can't really trust individuals, because there'll be individuals that say they're going to pay at this time. And, if you give them an extra day, then they're going to try to take more. One thing I've learned is if you give someone an inch, they're always going to want a mile. So there's been guests that I've been lenient with and they end up wanting so much more, and it just turns into a bad situation. So you always have to think about it in a business mindset. Say, look, this is a business. If you don't pay at this time, then that's it. There's no haggling.
Right. Same thing with Airbnb business. We give guests an inch, they take you for a mile, man. Same exact thing. So I know you're not a CPA, but can you briefly talk about the tax advantages one would have running a business like this?
If you're running a business like this, the tax advantages you would have is, you take advantage of the codes where they're talking about if your vehicle's over 6,000 pounds, you can write off a vehicle such as a Suburban or Maybach SUV. Big vehicles like that generally do very well. And I have an Escalade and Suburban, and those you're able to write off completely.
So let's say Escalade. How much is an Escalade?
Escalades, you can get them around 100 to 125,000. The newer ones. Suburban, you can get around 80,000. So that's immediately a write-off. And think about it,
so the whole thing.
Exactly. So this year, I believe it's only around 80% now. But last year, it was 100%. So let's say last year, you need to write off a certain amount. You bought a Suburban or Escalade, and you sent it to a company who would manage it for you. Then not only did you get a tax write-off, you're getting the dividends from the company every 15 days or month, however they do it.
If someone had $10,000 in the bank right now and they wanted to start a business like you, what are the steps?
So the steps I would take is definitely talk to your banks that you have a relationship with and figure out if you can get some sort of auto loan at a good rate. Right now the interest rates are pretty high on a vehicle loan, so I would recommend just going to buy a cash car around $6,000, $7,000, get it checked out by the mechanic so you don't come across any issues, and keep your $3,000 to $4,000 as a rainy day fund. And then you want to get into the insurance part of things and start running the car on two-row or hire car and get the car going that way. And then from there you can start making money, but you definitely want to keep a $3,000 to $4,000 just as an emergency fund. But you don't have to spend everything right away. You can do this without spending all your money. And if you have good credit and you can find a bank that will give you a good interest rate around 4 to 6%, then I would just go get an auto loan $0 down. But your credit needs to be in position to do that. $0 down. Then most of the time you don't even have your first payment for 45 days. So then from there you list it on two-row, hire car, and you're making profits for 45 days.
So you've scaled your business tremendously in a year and a half. what is one thing you would have done different?
You know, all like the setbacks that I've had, you know, I knew they were just part of the process, and I trusted the process.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to think what I would do different, you know, because I understand, you know, there's things that could have been avoided, but I understand everything is a part of the process.
Right.
And you have to trust the process. You have to trust that there's setbacks, and every time when things get harder, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
So you just got to keep looking forward. And I wish I would have started my marketing sooner the way I do it now. I wish I would have done that since day one. But you know, I just didn't know what I know now. I didn't know that there's so much more power in becoming your own company. Right. Because originally I started with Turo. For the first couple months I was on Turo. There's nothing wrong with that because it's good for experience. Yeah. But if I would have been marketing like I am now, then I would be a lot farther. All
right, Jose, give us 3 people to follow on Instagram.
So first I would say Pushman Mitch gave me a lot of gems. Pushman Mitch.
Pushman Mitch, okay.
Yeah, he's like the founder of Push Exotics in Atlanta.
Okay.
And then Victor Madu, you know, he's big in the sports betting, but I learned a lot about the Turo game from him. And then Elevate Rentals. He's my partner. You know, I've learned a lot from him on the funding side of things and the management side of things.
Okay, where can people get a hold of you?
You can follow me on Facebook, Jose Moreno. You can follow my company at SD City Rentals. The phone number is 800-519-4639. And I'm on Instagram at TheRealGordeezy.
There you go. Give him a follow.